The night in the cramped safe house grew colder as Jo Kur accepted a modest bag of biscuits from Wang Min and slipped away, her brief exchange doing little to ease the oppressive silence that settled over the wounded survivors. 3 men, Zhou Ping, Sun Jichao, and another lay on the sofa, blankets clinging to their bodies, each breath a reminder of the arrows and cuts that still throbbed. Zhou Ping stared at Fang Yuqing on the floor, grief clouding his eyes, while the others glared at her with barely concealed hostility, the wounds of betrayal as fresh as their physical injuries. Sun Jichao, his voice hoarse from pain, broke the stalemate by urging the group to seize medicine from Zhang Yi before infection claimed them all. He reminded them of the fortified apartment's fireplace and abundant food, knowledge gleaned from Zhang Yi's recent videos. "We cannot break in," he said, "but we can let everyone know what he hides." His proposal to broadcast the information sparked a sudden fire in the room. Gu Jialian nodded eagerly, and the others, desperate and out of options, agreed to the risky gambit. Fang Yuqing erupted in a furious tirade, declaring she would live with Zhang Yi and accusing the others of shamelessness. Wang Min's face hardened. She struck Yuqing across the face, swelling the cheek, then seized her hair and dragged her toward the bedroom, shouting for Zhou Ping to do her for me. Zhou Ping, his arm still wounded but functional, hesitated, pleading that he loved her and could not commit such an act. Wang Min's scornful insults only fueled his resolve, and he rebuffed her, proclaiming his devotion to Yuqing and rejecting the notion of being a simp. The room fell silent as Zhou Peng's earnest, if naive, declaration hung in the air, his loyalty to Yuqing momentarily shielding him from the group's brutality. Undeterred, Wang Min turned her fury toward Zhang Yi's hidden comforts. She uploaded a series of recent videos and photographs taken by Zhang Yi's family to the building's resident group chat, framing the footage as evidence of selfish luxury amid the freezing, starving reality the survivors endured. Her caption condemned the disparity and called for collective action, ensuring that even the lone gun-bearing Chen Zhenghao would see the provocation. The chat, usually dormant, erupted with shocked gasps and frantic questions about how Zhang Yi kept his home warm and lit, the residents' curiosity quickly morphing into a simmering rage. The surge of outrage rippled through the building as neighbors replayed the footage, their faces illuminated by the glow of their phones. Whispers of "we must take it" turned into louder chants, the idea that hundreds could overwhelm him gaining traction. While the plan to storm Zhang Yi's apartment remained unexecuted, the seeds of a coordinated assault had been sown, and the survivors, now united by desperation and anger, prepared to leverage the information leak as a weapon against the fortified enclave that held the medicine they so desperately needed. Wang Min seized the moment to broadcast a series of videos that showed Zhang Yi's apartment bathed in light, shelves brimming with food, fuel barrels stacked beside a temperature-controlled wine cabinet, and a sleek wine collection that included a bottle of premium Australian yellow kangaroo tail wine. He declared the footage recent, insisting that while the rest of the building struggled against the cold and starvation, Zhang Yi lived as if in paradise. The images ignited a firestorm in the resident group chat. Anger surged as neighbors recalled past sightings of Zhang Yi's family arriving in big and small cars, and they condemned him for hoarding supplies that could have saved them all. The chat exploded with more than 100 messages, each a desperate plea or a thinly veiled threat. Aunt Lin, self-appointed head of the neighborhood committee, demanded that Zhang Yi bring out his stores and distribute them. Mother Xia Limei begged for her baby's life, offering to make Zhang Yi a godfather. Rich second-generation Su Hao promised his family's billions in exchange for shelter. Even strangers claimed kinship, urging Zhang Yi to let them stay. The chorus grew louder, mixing moral blackmail with offers of wealth, marriage, and even bodily sacrifice. Throughout the barrage, Zhang Yi watched silently, his eyes cold, recalling a past betrayal when he once opened his door and was met with an axe. The memory hardened his resolve to treat the pleading neighbors as insects, a source of twisted amusement rather than victims. When the flood of messages finally forced a response, Zhang Yi typed a single, detached "oh" that only deepened the crowd's frenzy. He followed with a calm, almost mocking question: "Do I know you guys that well? Why should we share our things with you?" The neighbors, already on the brink of despair, could not sway him. He dismissed further reasoning, replying again with a terse "oh." Instead of opening his pantry, he retrieved the coveted bottle of Australian wine and a serving of French foie gras from his alternate dimension wine cabinet, savoring the rich flavors as the residents continued their desperate tirade. The red wine's tannins and the foie gras' bitterness blended into a luxurious taste that seemed to mock the suffering outside his fortified walls. Private messages poured in, each more desperate than the last. Mother Xia begged for herself and her child, offering any concession for safety. College student Zhang Xiyu pleaded for a chance to live, while several married women offered their bodies in exchange for a morsel of food. Chen Zhenghao, whose crippled leg he blamed on Zhang Yi, shouted his hatred in the chat, branding Zhang Yi son of a bitch and vowing retribution. Yet Zhang Yi remained unmoved, his focus fixed on the indulgent meal before him, his gaze flickering with a hint of malice as he watched the neighbors' theatrical pleas. The chapter closed on his silent, satisfied smile, leaving the building's residents on the edge of a collective, desperate resolve to confront the isolated man who held their fate in his hands. Zhang Yi watches the flood of messages from the building's women with detached amusement, labeling their pleas and private selfies as little essays that do not merit a response. Their confidence and attempts at moral blackmail irritate him, but he remains unmoved, scrolling through the chat while the city outside remains buried under a relentless snowstorm. He reclines on his sofa, a glass of premium Australian wine in one hand and a slice of French foie gras in the other, his eyes following the white veil that has covered the streets for half a month. The endless cold fuels a growing boredom, and he begins to toy with the idea of leaving his fortified sanctuary, recalling the snowmobile stored in his warehouse and the nationally certified cold weather suit that would keep him alive even at -70 degrees. The thought of venturing out is tempered by the knowledge that his apartment is a near-impregnable steel fortress, its 20-centimeter alloy door, bulletproof barriers, and full camera network still intact. Yet the prospect of fresh air and a change of scenery tempts him, especially now that the snow is piled 10 meters high, a depth his snowmobiles were originally meant to traverse for an artificial ice field. He imagines the quiet of the empty streets, the crack of a snowmobile engine, and the brief taste of freedom before the inevitable return to his isolated routine. Amid the endless chatter, a message from Jo Kor catches his attention. She is the tall, slender doctor from the First People's Hospital, known for her rational demeanor and, in his mind, an enviable figure. Her request is straightforward. She offers her medical expertise in exchange for food and medicine, acknowledging that her supplies are nearly exhausted. Zhang Yi admires her pragmatic approach, recognizing that in a world where disease spreads unchecked, a skilled physician is a priceless asset. He also recalls that she once died giving food to Xia Lime, a fact that, to him, signals a lingering spark of humanity worth preserving. He replies with a cold calculation, refusing to give her anything for free. He tells Jo Kor that while he has ample medicine and food, any trade must include an immediate benefit. She must spy on the neighbors and report any plans of an assault on his stronghold. He frames the request as a test of her usefulness, noting that his fortress was built precisely for a day like this, capable of withstanding even heavily armed forces. The exchange hangs in the digital air, a tentative pact that could grant him an inside informant while offering Jo Kor a lifeline, and the tension in the building rises as the residents inch closer to a coordinated strike.